Okay, so we have covered the first three requirements for the eHealth incentive. Moving on to the fourth one, which is the electronic transfer of prescription. In order to electronically transfer prescriptions, the practice need to have a valid current MIMS subscription. And I'll take you to the website soon where you can see how to register for the MIMS subscription. We'll be covering the topics as MIMS subscription, configuring MediSecure and ERX, and then demonstration on printing an e-prescription barcoded label. So I'll take you to the website here. That's the MIMS website, and there are a few details here which you can go through about iMIMS, eMIMS, and then there's the price list about standard or international options. And once we have that MIMS subscriptions organized, they will give us a number for MediSecure or ERX, whichever we choose for, and that needs to be entered into the system, into the Medtech evolution. And I'll show you where. So let's begin with putting the number we get for the MediSecure. So go into the Medtech demonstration page, the login page, and I'll go into the setup option, location settings, and pick up my practice. And in there, I will go into the codes and defaults. And at the bottom, if I say MediSecure site, so this is where I will put the number obtained from MIMS for the MediSecure subscription. And if I press OK, so that will accept and validate that. And that will prompt us to log out and log in again to take that effect. Okay, so we can log out and then log in again. So logging in just to see that would have taken effect. So that's again onto the setup. And that was location settings, opening our practice. And in the codes and default, that was the number we entered. So that should be sitting there. So that was about MediSecure. When it comes to ERX, we do not get any location ID or site ID for ERX. Instead, we get an individual provider ID that needs to be entered against individual provider. And I'll show you where and how we can enter that. So let's get out of here and cancel that. This time I'm going into the setup instead of location, going into the staff, members, and then select the correct person who we want to enter that ERX entity. And from there, I will go into the provider tab. And at the bottom, if I can see here, there are two options, provider number and then ERX entity ID. This is where the ERX number will be entered. So not for the location, but for the individual provider, we get an ERX ID from MIMS, which can be entered here. And once this is entered, we press OK. So that's sorted. And I'll show you a demonstration of printing e-labels, e-prescription label. To be able to do that, let's bring a patient on pallet. And I'll go into the staff members to make sure that they have got that prescription printing enabled. So staff members, for example, that one there, and into the provider. So this is where we will enable the option of printing barcoded label using MediSecure, or if we wanted to print a barcoded label or prescription using ERX. So that's all good. Okay, and I want to print a label now. For that, we need to prescribe a drug to the patient. So we go into the module and clinical. And from clinical, we get an option about F10, that is the new prescription. F10 is the shortcut key. For example, I put here amoxicillin as a drug here, or capsule, 500. Set the dose. And if I say okay, so we're prescribing that particular drug with that frequency or that dosage, and okay.